Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. It's Friday morning. Hopefully, you've had an unbelievable week. Maybe some of you have had a rough week. No matter where you're at, you're in a position where you can change your situation. There's no such thing as circumvention of trials, struggles, disappointments, setbacks, mistakes, and so many other things that can lead to a place or momentary situation in which things are not favorable. Everybody's going to experience setbacks. Everybody's going to experience some bad days, some bad weeks, and even some bad months. That's a part of life. That's a part of the journey. That's a part of the fight. But what you have to understand is you are consistently and constantly in a position to make a decision, to make a move, to take an action that can change your life forever. And you have to be actively engaged in looking for the right moment. And as George Bernard Shaw once said, that those who get on in this world are those who wake up in the morning and go out and find the opportunity they need. And if one does not exist, they create it. And that is exactly what it's about. It's not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to hit a home run every time. Nobody's going to sit up and make the right investment decision every time. Nobody's going to sit up and make the right business decision, the right relational decision, the right parenting decision. You are going to have some times when you're going to be off. And that's what I want to kind of talk to you about today. But before I do, I want to remind you, don't forget to take advantage of the resources that are in the description box, from books to opportunities to work directly with yours truly in a one-on-one capacity. I'm actually holding a couple of spots right now. Would love to work with you. Those who are serious, apply. Now, let's get to it. I'm not going to try to hold you too long, but I definitely want to speak on this. I think it's immensely important. We get a lot of content that tell you you are exceptional, that tells you you're extraordinary, that tells you you can do anything you want to do in life, that tells you how to handle your haters, and so many other things that you know are important. I don't want to marginalize them because they're important. How you see yourself, how you respond to negative and adverse conditions, how you respond to opposition by way of gossip, opposition by way of personal resistance, and so many other things that are simply going to be a part of life as you strive to raise your level of living. It's going to come. It's important that you understand who you are and that you do have these positive reinforcements in place. But one of the biggest problems that I see when I meet people and I start to talk with them and they're asking what's going on and why is this happening and why is that happening is that there's not enough ownership of the junk, of the trash, of the crap, of the things that aren't right, the things that are going wrong. There's a lot of it's not my fault. And what I can tell you about it's not my fault is that those are four words that literally have the power to totally destroy your life. Why? Because life is about accountability. Life is about responsibility. Life is about taking ownership of your mistakes. And unfortunately, what often gets in the way of that is our ego. See, our ego doesn't like to admit we're wrong. Our ego doesn't like to admit we made mistakes, that we had a role in putting ourselves in a condition. A lot of times when people come to me and they start talking about things and how things have happened, how it's been one bad situation after another, one bad situation after another. And situations are in most ways distinct. In other words, they're not connected. It's not like, okay, I went to work and I got there late and then I got rolled up and then later on the day I get, something. And that's connected. That's a cascade. These are distinct and different. I'll give you a prime example. I get times when people come to me and they're talking about failed relationships and they're talking about how this was horrible and this person did this and this person did this and this person did this and on down the line. What you have is 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 failed relationships, and you can point out all the things that the person did to you and that person did wrong. I'm not here to marginalize what that person did. I'm not here to defend them. I don't even know them. But here's what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, that there's only one common denominator in those relationships. Unless all those people got together before the first one met you and decided, hey, that person right there, we're going to take our turns just really screwing over them and messing up their life and mishandling them. In other words, you're the only common denominator in those relationships. Unless they conspired to do this to you years ago and they've all taken their turns, it's you. And I'm not saying that you made somebody mistreat you. I'm saying that just in where you are and you're thinking about yourself, you chose someone who wasn't capable of treating you the way you needed to be treated. You got to own that. You got to own that there's some work still that you still need to do. You got to, instead of saying it's not my fault, you got to say it's on me. I own it. I've got to be a better person. I've got to be a better decision maker. Sometimes no matter how good of a decision maker you are, no matter how good of a businessman you are, or a businesswoman, or a business person, whatever what term works for you, and no matter how good you are, there's going to be a day you're not going to do so well. There's going to be a day when you're going to make a bad decision. There's going to be a day where you make a mistake. It's called life. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's striving to be the best they can possibly be, but along the way you make mistakes. It's in sitting up and being willing to acknowledge beyond your ego, getting outside of yourself, and the need to be perfect, the need to never be wrong, and to sit up and say, you know what, it's on me. It's on me. When you see when you have someone who can sit up and admit that they made a mistake. They're developing the characteristics of being a good leader. And see, when you can be a good leader, you can be a good husband, a good wife. When you can be a good leader, you can be a good business owner. When you can be a good leader, you can be a good coach. You can be a good teacher. You can be a good mentor. But see, if you don't have the capability of owning your own mistakes and faults, you can't be trusted. Because see, a person that can't own their mistakes is inevitably going to throw someone else under the bus to take the responsibility. And so no one will trust you. You won't find people who are willing to follow you with the intensity and the commitment and loyalty that is necessary to pull off the things that you're trying to get done. So you'll get people who are haphazardly in, but they don't trust you. You are going to have to develop a capacity within yourself to sit up and say, you know what? That was me. I made the mistake. And even when you may be able to point a finger, but if it happened under your leadership, own it. And then whoever you think actually made the mistake, you go to them one on one and say, hey, look, this is what happened. This is how we're going to handle it. And you give them the chance to be better the next time around. And what you will have is a loyal person who will have faith in you as a leader, who knows that you will go to the mat for them and knows that you will cover them. And that's how it happens. You cannot win in life by pointing the finger. See, pointing the finger also makes you the victim, and victims don't win in this world. When you're pointing the finger, you said, you did this to me. You're the victim. But even when they did it to you, if you say, you know what? I let you in to do that. I'm not going to make that mistake again. That one's on me. You've taken control over it. You're no longer the victim. You have control over what's going to happen in your life from that point forward. You now know what to look for in the next person. You know when something is a red flag and when it's not. You're learning, you're growing. Mistakes are teachers. Micro failures are teachers. It's in learning and accepting and acknowledging it that you gain it. Until you are willing to own your mess, you're never truly going to progress in the way you think. You'll get around and you'll feel good about yourself because you're blaming everybody else. But you won't have anybody in your camp that truly trusts you, because they know as soon as something goes bad in that area, you're gonna blame them. I'm not saying go around taking on everybody's mistakes as your own. I'm saying know when you are culpable in a situation and own it. Admit it. I was wrong. I thought, or I miscalculated, or whatever. It happens. I don't care how good you are at something, it happens. And then sometimes there are external and insinuating circumstances that simply influence something in a way that you could not have predicted. And you still have to own it because you made the move, you made the decision, you made the commitment, you made the move, you took the action, whatever it is, and it led to that. That's not what you were anticipating. That was not your intentions. Saying I'm wrong doesn't say that I meant to harm anybody. Saying I'm wrong doesn't mean that I meant for things to go awry. Saying I'm wrong is it didn't turn out the way I planned it. And it's on me. And now it's my responsibility to fix it. That's all you can ask of anyone is for them to sit up and say, you know what? It's on me. I didn't do it, didn't turn out the way I thought it would. I got it. I'll figure it out. I'll fix it. And then work on fixing it. That's going to earn the trust of people who are really truly looking to be trusting. Some people don't ever plan on being trusting, and nothing you do is going to win them over. That's something to do with them. You can't worry about that. But I just wanted to stop by and put this on your heart that those words, it's not my fault. If it's never your fault, there's a problem. And if you can't acknowledge and admit when you're wrong, it's a problem. See, the thing is, you don't want your ego leading you. You don't want your ego controlling you. You don't want your ego being the decisive force in your life. You want your character to be the deciding force. You want your character to establish the principles and standards of operation. You don't want to be hiding behind this absolute need to always be right and never be wrong, because then your character is automatically compromised. Because in times when hey man, that was on me, but you finding someone else to dump it on, your character has been compromised. There's a problem with integrity. And so my thing is, no matter what you're looking to improve in your life, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your career, your business, your finances, your personal state of mind, your mental health, whatever it is that you're looking to improve, one of the things that you're going to have to be willing to do is acknowledge when you are making a bad decision, or when you have made a bad decision, when you've taken a poor action, made a poor move, or whatever it is. That's going to be on you. You cannot sit around and always blame someone else for what's going on in your life. Even the people who are in your life that are causing friction and pain, they got there because you allowed them in, you invited them in, you gave them a space in your life to speak into your life, to take actions that impact you. You gave them that space. That's going to be on you. You're going to have to acknowledge when it does. Like I told the people who came to me about these relationships that they had, and this person did this to me, and that person did that to me, and that person did. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Well, here's my question to you. What's the one common denominator in all of this? What do you mean? Who is the person that's present in each one of these situations? And it's only one. Me? Okay. So then there's some culpability there. You're the common denominator in all of the situations. It doesn't mean that the people that you're talking about didn't do what you're saying they're doing. I'm not questioning that. I wasn't there. What I am saying is, if it's exactly how you said it is and they did all these things, how did they get there? What was it about you that drew them to you? What was it about you that couldn't see all of the signs that are always there before you actually allowed them to get close enough to do the things that they did to you? In other words, you need to work on you. You don't need to be worrying about the next relationship. You need to be worrying about working on you so that the new you will draw the right person, be able to discern that they're the right person, be able to have standards that you're operating through that will automatically repel those who can't live up to it. That's on you. If people are study coming into your life that are hurting you, it's because you haven't set the standards high enough and raised the bar high enough that you're keeping them out. That's on you. People who are broken, messed up, and mixed up and intent on wreaking havoc are not going to care that you don't want to be hurt. They're going to see you, that it's access to you, and they're going to come in and do what they do. It's your job to raise the barrier, to raise the bar, to sit up and say, this is what you have to do in order to have time with me, space with me, friends, loved ones, whoever it is. In order to be in my space, there's a certain standard of operation and engagement that you have to comply with. It's that simple. If you don't do it, then you are allowing people in, and by allowing them in through uh, allowing them in, giving them permission to do whatever it is they do to you. And that applies to anything across the board. Take ownership in how you got there, and then determine how you're going to get out of it. That's your responsibility. No one else's but yours. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, don't forget to check the description box. Um, Maybe it's a book you want, maybe you want to work with me, whatever it is, but whatever you do, check the description box. Do something. Make 2020 a year of progression. Make 2020 a year in which you have goals set that will take you to another level. I told my wife at the beginning of the year, we taking this year on. This is a year of restoration and elevation. And we know in what ways we're expecting elevation. We know what level of elevation we're looking for. And we also know what level of healing we are striving for. And it's with intent that we will go out and make it happen. And you are going to meet resistance. Let me just be clear that anything that you're setting your mind to do that's of substance will come with some resistance. It's simply the way of life. If it's easy, everybody will do it. You've heard that a million times. No, it's extremely true. The fact that it takes work, the fact that it takes commitment, the fact that it takes sacrifice, the fact that you're going to have to take some risks doesn't set well with most people. Most people want to reside in the corner of comfort. They want everything to happen, but they don't want to put anything on the table. They don't want to put any skin in the game. They're not willing to take any risk. And when you do that, you remain safe for the most part, but that's still things you don't control. But you're not out there, and you've lowered your risk factor, but you've also reduced your capacity to be able to achieve. You're going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to set some guidelines, some goals. You're going to have to be intent on achieving them. You're going to have to get out of your corner of comfort, and you're going to have to go out into the world and make it happen. It's a process. I'm challenging you to do it. As I always say, I live my life on full. I live my life on full every day, so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I'm challenging you to do the same thing. On that note, I'm out of here.